Okay, question number 1. It says, this is your exam review packet. Without graphing, determine whether the function represents exponential growth or exponential decay. Then find the y-intercept. This
Growth.
right here, this base, if it's greater than 1, it's growth. If it's less than 1, it's decay. So 3 over 2 is 1.5, so this is growth. And the number in front is your y-intercept, so 0, 4.6 is your y-intercept.
Wait, when is it a growth? When it's greater than?
If the base is greater than 1, but if it's between 0 and 1, so this is what you're gonna have. It's gonna be either between 0 and 1, any number in this region right here is gonna be decay. And from here on is growth. Okay, next one, number 2. It says the initial, and by the way, that's your initial number. 4.6 is your initial number. What if you don't see a number right there? What's the initial number?
1.
1. Good. Number 2, the initial population of bacteria in a lab is 240. So it says the number of bacteria double. So that's your growth factor. This is your base. Every 2 hours. Predict the bacteria population at the end of 8 hours. So, what's your initial?
240.
What's the base?
2.
It's doubling. Now, T is how many times we are going to do this problem. So if every 2 hours it doubles, how many time intervals are you talking about?
4.
4. So T is 4. Do not put 8 here. So every 2 hours, so 2 hours, that's 1. 2 hours, that's 2. 2 hours, that's 3. 2 hours, that's 4. So 2, 4, 6, 8, that's 8 hours. So T is 4. Now, is there anyone that can't do this on a calculator? You will be able to use a calculator on your exam. So please, take the calculator right now that you are going to use for your test. Because a lot of you guys during the test come up to me and say, how do you do the, I can't tell you. I'm gonna say, that's what you're being tested on, okay? And you're gonna get mad at me. So don't get mad at me, because this is the part where you need to know how to use your calculator. So, did anyone get the answer yet?
Okay.
Why is it not?
Yep.
Yeah,
Number 3, the population of Rochester was 17,500 in 1990. So what's the initial population? The population was projected to grow. It's growing at a rate of 4.5%. So your, inside here, you're gonna put 1 plus 0.045.
You have too many zeros.
Yeah.
What?
You have too many zeros.
Oh, sorry, I do. Thank you. So if it said decrease, what would this be? 1 minus 0.045. Now, when does it grow? It grows every decade. Decade is 10 years. So how many decades do you have from 1990 to 2025?
3.
3.5 decades.
For each.
Every 10 years. So this is gonna be 3.5, 3.5 decades. Okay, now let's read the question again. Predict the population to the nearest 1,000. So when you do this problem on your calculator, you're gonna get 20,414.796. But the question says to the nearest 1,000. This is your 1,000 place. So this tells you don't bump this up one. So the actual correct answer is 20,000 to the nearest thousand. So please read the question carefully. If it does not say predict it to the nearest thousand, then you're, watch that, if there's a TH, thousands. So please read the question. Number 4, Pat bought a car. The car cost $19,500. And as with most cars, they decline in value. How much is this car gonna decline? 18%. So it's 19,500 times 1 minus 0.18. And I wanna know for the next 5 years, what's the car gonna be worth? $7,229. But the question says to the nearest $100. So it'd be 7,200 to answer this question, 7,200. Number 5. Find the final amount if you invest $4,000 at 6.2% compounding monthly for 8 years. Do you guys know this formula?
Yeah.
You said we can use no card rate?
Yes. So 4,000 times, 1 plus your interest rate is 0.062. Monthly, how many months are there in a year? 12. And then 12 times how many years? 8 years. Make sure you can type this correctly in your calculator. Anyone get an answer?
6,560.
Yes.
So do you only use this formula when it says monthly?
That sounds right.
If it says monthly, if it says quarterly, then N would be 4. If it says semi-annually, it's 2.
Times 8.
What's that?
12 times 8?
Yes, the N value times the number of years, yes. Yes. Now, if it said compounding continuously, what formula do you use? P times E to the RT power. That's continuously, which is the next problem. The next problem. So, if you deposit $5,500 in an account at 3.6%, so 0.036, I want to know in 10 years, it's compounding continuously. You use this formula. And you get $7,883.31. So, yes, E is on your calculator. E is approximately equal to 2.71. So if you get stuck, you can use 2.71. But E will be on your calculator. Make sure you can get E on your calculator. If you can't, let me know. You get to pick whichever calculator you want to use, and if you want to have both of them in front of you, that's fine. Some like the Inspire, some like the 83s. Now, how do you do these log problems? A lot of people have been asking me over the last few days. This is old stuff. How do you write this in log form?
The log of 144 base 12.
Log of 144 base 12. The big number here is the little number here. And what did I tell you a log is? A log is an exponent. So where's the exponent? It's here. Now for this one, they want you to write it in exponential form. So what's the base? 4. The power is -3 is equal to 1 over 64.
Why can I no card it's like a little.
The bigger note card you can use, fine.
Like half sheet.
Yeah.
Wait, the big one?
Yes.
Is this big?
They get a poster board.
Okay,
Why
now,
did you give me that?
solve for x. Where is x? Right there, little. So let's rewrite it. X to the negative fifth power is equal to 1 over 243. Now, you guys know the test is multiple choice. You're going to have answers here that you could probably, if you don't know what raised to the, now think of 243. If you wrote this, this is what, 3 to the fifth power. So if you wanted to move this up here, actually, 3, is it 3 to the fifth? Yeah. Yes, 3 to the fifth. So if you move this up, it's 3 to the negative fifth. So what would x have to be? X is 3. Well, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 243. Okay, how do you do this one?
Come on, guys.
How do you do this one? How do you convert this? Because we want to find out what x is. 36 to the 1/2 power. What does that mean? What is 36 to the 1/2 power? Yeah. What is the answer? 6. How about the next one? I want to find out x, so I'm going to rewrite it. 2 to the 6th power is x. What is 2 to the 6th power? 64. Okay, how about the next one? What number to the 3rd power is 8? So, come on, you guys, you can do this. The cube root of what is 8? 2.
Isn't it 2?
How do you solve this, guys? What do? You would cube that side, and you would cube this side.
Wow.
What's 8 to the 3rd power? 512. So the cube root of 512 is 8. Number 13, I want to expand this. Now, we talked about all the properties. We have a product rule and we have a power rule here. This one has it as a quotient rule. So how will you write this out? How do you write this out? Well, it's going to be the log of 49 base 7 plus 2 times the log of y base 7 plus the log of z base 7. Do you guys remember the properties? Remember the power rule?
Yeah.
You bring that in front, but you're only bringing it in front of the y. Now, this one you can do. 7 to what power is 49?
7, 2.
Yep, this is equal to a 2. We can simplify this. It says simplify if possible. This could be equal to 2, and then just rewrite the rest. And that's as simple as you're going to get. Number 14 is a subtraction, because it's actually, we're using all of the rules. We're using a subtraction for this division, we're using a power rule, and we're using a product rule. So this one written out will be the log, actually 2, the log of m base 5, minus the log of 5 base 5, minus the log of p base 5. These two are both minuses because they're in the denominator. Now, I do know another name for this. We talked about it. What is it when these two are the same? Remember this? Type it in your calculator. What's the log of 5 divided by the log of 5? What do you get? 1. This is equal to 1. So you can write this one as 2 log of m base 5 minus 1 minus log of p base 5. Next one, number 15. Now we want to condense this. So, see this 2 right here? You are going to back this 2 up. What am I going to do with these two? Square them. So I've got the log of x squared y squared. This 2 is squaring both of these. And this is a base 5. Plus the log of 100 base 5 minus the log. So first thing I did was that. Now I have a plus sign here, so what am I going to do with these two? Plus means product, and a minus is division. So how will I write this in 1? It'd be 100 x squared y squared over 2. And what is 100 over 2? There it is. Next one, number 16. What does this 1/4 mean? Fourth root of 81, and it's base 2, over this, you're squaring 4 and x. Well, what is 4 squared? 16 and x squared. Now, what is the 4th root of 81? 3. This is equal to 3. And then 16x squared, and that's all base 2. Number 17. What do you do when you have a calculator sitting in front of you and you have these two numbers right here? How do I evaluate log of 62 base 3? Well, if you have the old calculator, you're going to type in log of 62 divided by log of 3. And if you had the Inspire, Danielle, can I use yours? Remember how to use this one? Type in log, control log. My eyes are really bad, you guys. Control right here. And then you can type that in exactly the way you see it. So whichever calculator you're going to use, so do base 3 and then 62. Get your cursor out and then plus 1. Very easy. 4.75. Actually, depending on how they want you to round, this one says round to the nearest 100. So I would write 4.76 for my answer. For the correct answer. This next one, calculate the pH. We did one of these in our old test. This is 10 to the negative 2.3. We're going to put that there. Now, you could do this one even without a calculator if you remember your rules. This is saying -1 times, do you remember what you do with this right here? This goes in front. So you have -2.3 times -1 times the log of 10 base 10. Well, what's the log of 10 base 10? What's this equal to 1? Well, what's this times this? So that's your answer, 2.3. And if you don't believe me, you can use your calculator. Okay, next page. How do you solve these log ones? Well, unless you have both log base 216, which is crazy. You can cross them out, but you can't cross this out because you don't have a log base 216 here. So you are going to rewrite in exponential form. How does that look? 216 to the 1/3 power is equal to 3x minus 7. Now, again, this is a multiple choice test. You don't have to show me your work, you can do it all on the calculator. So you could take 216, take the cube root of it or raise it to the 1/3 power, add 7, divide by 3. Did anyone get an answer? 3.33. What is it?
4.33.
Yep, 4.33 is correct. Now, what if I drew a blank? Okay. What if you drew a blank and did not know how to do this problem on your test? What could you do? Save this question to the very end. And then what you could do, because it would take you time to do this, you can plug your answers in one at a time and see which one works. Okay, how about number 20? How would you condense? I've got to condense this side right here. It's a subtraction, and I've got a 3 sitting in front here. So this 3 goes back here with the 4. Did everybody understand what I just did? This is the numerator. This is the power of the 4. And now I'm going to rewrite this. 5 to the 2nd power equals 3x plus 10 over 4 cubed. Well, I'm going to multiply these two together. 5 times 5 is 25. And 25 times 4 times 4 times 4 is what? $25 times 4 to the 3rd. I got 1,600. Then what would you do? Subtract 10 and then divide by 3. And I got 530 for my answer. Anyone not get that? Number 21, how do you condense the left side? Well, it's a product. So it's going to be x plus 2 times x minus 5. And this is base 2. So now I'm going to rewrite this as 2 to the 3rd power. What is 2 to the 3rd? 8. Square this, factor this out. Set it equal to 0. This would be minus 18. And now factor it. X plus 6, or x plus 3, x minus 6. So your possible answers are -3 and 6. But we have to throw out this answer because if you put -3 here or here, here or here, you would get a log of a negative number. You can't have a 0 or a negative number right here. So this answer is extraneous, and 6 is the only one that works. Now I guarantee on your test, they're going to put both of these answers here. You need to know to throw out any extraneous solutions. 22. Now, how are you going to solve an equation that's in exponential form? You're going to write it in log form. This would be the log of 120 base 8 is equal to x plus 5. I'm going to use my calculator to come up with that answer, and then subtract 5. And you should get, I believe, -2.7. Let's do it. Log, and then it's base 8, 120, enter, and then you're going to subtract 5, and you get negative 2.69, which is negative 2.7. Okay. In 2007, a painting was evaluated at 12,500. This is like problems, the first set. So the initial amount is 12,500. Oh, I'm sorry. 23. Go back to 23. I did. Okay, this one, what you're gonna wanna do is you wanna get this 1.07 to the x power alone. So I've got 12 sitting here. I wanna get rid of that first. So first get rid of the 12. What is 80 minus 12?
68.
Now you gotta get rid of this 5. What's 68 divided by 5? 13.6. Now rewrite this in log form. Log of 13.6 base 1.07 is x. So you're gonna type in the log. So turn your calculator on. Pull the log, and you're gonna hit 1.07 for your base and 13.6 for. And I get 38.58 if you round correctly. Questions? Okay, 24, we have a painting that was evaluated at 12,500, and the assessor says that the value is going to increase in value 5% each year. So the initial amount is 12,500, it's going to increase by 5%. I wanna know in how many years, so I need to figure out is this painting gonna be worth 20,000? So I'm gonna put 20,000 here. So how would you do this? Well, what's another name for 1 plus 0.05? How do you get rid of this 12,500? So what's 20,000? 20,000 divided by 12,500. Eight fifths. Now you could do menu number. You want to convert it. 1.6. So you have 1.6 is equal to 1.05x. How do you rewrite this in log form? And then do that on your calculator. Anyone have an answer? Yep. Okay, 25 and 26, use your calculator, you guys. Type this in your calculator. I'm gonna show you really quick. Yeah. You should be able to pick out the correct answer. By the way, you could do a couple quick things on this one. What's this 2 right here? That's your y-intercept. And what's this gonna tell you? It's a decay problem. So I already know that this thing, without even touching my calculator, it's gonna hit at 0,2, which, I don't have my x and y axis, but 0,2 is your y-intercept, and it's coming down because it's a decay problem, because the base is less than 1. So you could type this in your calculator. I'm gonna first make sure my calculator is in the right mode, the window. And then how do you type this in? 2, and then 2 divided by 3 raised to the x power. Okay, graph. And you should be able to pick out what the correct answer is. A, B, C, or D. Now, if I wanted some values, what would I hit? Table, and there are some values, if you're not really sure. You're not really sure. Okay, so second table. What's the domain on this? The domain is all real numbers. So if you look at your graph, your domain is all real numbers. We can use any x value we want. But the range, what's this thing? It's never gonna cross the x-axis. So it's y is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. For the long one, we did this one by hand. We did the table, we did all the steps. Type it in your calculator, that's probably the easiest thing you're gonna do. Type this in your calculator. Okay, now, you do not, if it's in base 10, you don't need the base. So how could you use your calculator to type this one? -3 log x. Oops, I'm sorry. I typed it in wrong. -3 minus
It's our Hummer.
Sorry, that's me.
log
I mean,
x.
I thought it was beautiful.
And then hit graph. And there's your graph.
Thanks.
Okay, next set. You guys had trouble with these factoring ones. Chapter 8.
Yeah,
You guys gotta get factoring down. Now, this section is gonna be very hard to plug in, you can't plug answers in, you can't work backwards, you have to know how to factor. So, first of all, if it's a division, what do? You're gonna flip and multiply. So, how do you factor this numerator right here? How do you factor that? What comes out of here? An x. Can you factor that some more? X what? -4 and x -2? It's -2. Okay, so that is that factored completely. How do you factor this? Now you're gonna flip this, I'm gonna take a 10x out. Right? Notice how I put this on top? And then on the bottom, what can you take out?
Miss Adia, you
Yes.
didn't take the top one.
The what?
The X next to the sign.
Oh, thank you, thank you. There's an x, 10x. Thank you. Okay, what cancels?
Are you guys paying attention and using your phones?
The
Paying attention.
I mean, because she knows this stuff, she's doing this for your benefit.
X -4 is cancel.
the X minus 2 and 2 minus X.
What happens with these two?
Don't they create like a -1?
And you put a -1 in, remember?
Yeah.
So you have a -1 times something, that balances those two. How about 2 goes into 10 how many times? 5? This is a mess, isn't it?
I hate these so much.
That's it. So what's left is a 5 on top. We have 2 x's here, so 5x squared, and then an x minus 5 on top, over x minus 4. Now, for your restrictions, x cannot be, look at your denominator before you flip. You can't have 4 here, and you can't have, for this one, this was really on the bottom, you can't have 0 or 5. And you also can't have 2. So those are your restrictions. You can't have 0, 2, 4, or 5. Next one, number 2. This is a simple product, so you're gonna factor everything. How do you factor this numerator? What comes out?
X.
How about this bottom? Didn't we just factor this one? Right there? How does this factor? And this is the difference of two perfect squares. So let's name the restrictions. X can't be 4, 2, 3, or -3. And then what cancels? These cancel, these cancel,
Plus 3.
these cancel. What's left?
X over X minus 2.
X over X minus 2. Number 3, how do you factor this one?
Wait, what were the restrictions?
X and
4,
a Y.
2, 3, and -3.
Take out an X and a Y.
Right? We're gonna flip this, we're gonna take out the numerator, this is really in the numerator. What is common? It's a GCF1, x squared. You're left with x plus 2y. In the bottom, you can take out, you can factor x plus 5y. And x plus 2y. So what cancels?
X plus 5, X plus 3.
These two cancel, and these two cancel. 2 of the x's with 2 x's cancel here. So you have an x left, so your answer is x minus y over x. Do not cancel these 2 x's. These two are stuck together. You cannot separate these. Questions? Okay, number 4. This is a division, so really it's 2, let's factor this at the same time. Take out a 2, you're left with x plus 3. Let's factor this, x minus 3, x plus 3. Let's flip this and put this x plus 3 on top and x plus 2 on the bottom. And let's factor this at the same time. This is a product. So it's x plus 4. I flip this one because it's a division. You flip and multiply. So this comes on top, this is on the bottom. Okay, how does this 2x squared plus 11x plus 12 factor?
So
Is it
X
also
plus
related
11.
to that?
11.
No.
Does that work? 8, 9, 10, 11, yep. So what cancels? I see those two. I see these two.
The X plus 3s.
I see these. Anything else?
No.
That's it. So it's 2 times x plus 3. Now don't cancel this 2x plus 3 and say 2x plus 3 here, because this is really 2x plus 6. So this is what's left, a 2, an x plus 3 on top, and a x minus 3, and 2x plus 3. You guys remember doing these? Okay. Number 5. Now we're going to add and subtract. Are these denominators the same? So what do we have to do? We have to get a common denominator. What's your common denominator? Miss Audia? Sure, thanks. Ashley's leaving. Okay, so let's factor this.
X minus
You
3,
get
X plus 2.
X plus 3 I'm sorry, x minus 3, x minus 2. So what is our common denominator is both of these. So we need to multiply this by x minus 2. So what you have here is 7x minus 14 minus x minus 4 all over x minus 2, x minus 3. So you have 6x minus 18. Does everyone understand that? 6x, so 7x minus x is 6x. Negative 14 minus 4 is negative 18. Now let's see, can we take something out of the numerator?
3, 6,
What else canceled? So your answer is 6 over x minus 2. Questions? Okay, number 6, we need a common denominator.
2x.
My guess is this is gonna factor to be x plus 2, x plus 7.
And it
What do you
does.
think?
Yeah.
Thanks for your pre-care statement.
X plus 2, x plus 7. What does that mean? It means I have to multiply this by x plus 2, x plus 2. And I have to multiply this by x plus 7, x plus 7. Got a lot of work here. Okay, so let's factor this. X squared, 7x minus 1x is 6x, and then minus 7. Let's keep going. Plus x squared, plus 2x. And we have to distribute this negative. Minus 4x plus 7. All of this is over x plus 2, x plus 7. So what goes together in the numerator?
Squared.
2x squared. How about the x's? It's going to give you 8x minus 4x is 4x. And the 7's cancel. What can you take out of the numerator? And then what cancels? So your answer is 2x over x plus 7. Next one. This is a complex fraction. We've got to get a common denominator on top and on the bottom. So we're going to multiply this by x, this by x. So you have 6x plus 2 over x over, multiply this by 2x and this by 2x. 8x minus 3 over 2x. Now you flip and multiply. Oops, 8x minus 3. The x's cancel. And that's really all you can do. I could take a 2 out of here, but it's not going to do me any good. So it's 2 times 6x plus 2 over 8x minus 3. Now, how can you write this differently? You can write 12x plus 4 over 8x minus 3. That's another version of the answer. Number 8. Do you remember what happened in this situation? If I factor this, and I'm going to turn this into a plus, a negative 5. Do you remember what I could do here with this?
pull negative 1 out.
If I pull out a negative 1, I can make this what? if I pull out a -1, which is x minus, which is this right here. So what would I do with this -1? I'm gonna carry it up there. So I've got 3x over plus, this is gonna be a positive 5, and this is really x minus 5. That way, I can just multiply this top and bottom by x plus 5. See, this is twisted, it's that one right there. So let's do this. What's 5 times x and 5 times 5? Well, 5x plus 25 gives us 8x plus 25 over. And we're done.
You're done now.
And I'm gonna move through